Welcome back to MMA Surge. Squid here. So the UFC just came out with their own rankings. I'm going to show you guys my rankings because the UFC rankings only ranks fighters within the UFC. I'm going to give you my rankings on fighters in every organization in the world. So I'll show you my top 10 and let you know who's the best in every weight class. So let's take a peek at the heavyweight division. Heavyweight division's been pretty set. If you look at all the rankings online and around the world, they're pretty much the same. Roy Nelson just defeated Chet Congo. He pretty much secured himself a spot in the top 10. Also, Frank Mir lost to Daniel Cormier, but a loss to Cormier doesn't really change anything. He stays in the 7th position and doesn't move. Also this month, we have Junior Dos Santos against Mark Hunt. That could be a little flop in the division. Stay tuned for that fight. All right, so let's take a peek at the light heavyweight division. This is the division that John Jones has had a strong hold of for the last few years. Nothing surprising in this weight class. Everyone is pretty much staying in the same position in all the rankings I've looked at. You know, we have a few fights come up that may change it. A possible Alexander Gustafsson fight against Lyoto Machida. That could send some waves in the division. Besides that, the top 10 will stay the same for a while. All right, let's take a peek at the middleweight division. Another division where the champion has held on to it for a long time. Anderson Silva, the best fighter in the history of mixed martial arts. A lot of people have Vitor Belfort ranked second. I have Chris Weidman ranked second. I think he's a better fighter than Vitor Belfort. I think he may be the guy that can beat Anderson Silva. Also, this month, we have Vitor Belfort against Luke Rockhold, which is a really good fight. Luke Rockhold was the Strikeforce champion. Now he's fighting Vitor Belfort. A lot of guys think that Vitor Belfort is the number 2 contender, so this is a fight that can send some waves. Besides that, the top 10 is pretty solid, and that's that. All right, let's take a peek at the welterweight division. We have champion George St. Pierre holding that down for a long time. Most of the rankings look the same around the world, but I have Ben Askren in number 6 position. I think his wrestling is really good, and if I put him against other people's rankings, I think he would beat most of the people in the 7, 8, and 9 spot. I think his wrestling is too good, and that's why I have him at 6. Besides that, pretty solid. That weight class is pretty much, everyone knows that Hendricks is 2, Ellenberger is 3, and it just works its way down. So that's the rankings for the welterweight division. All right, so let's take a peek at the lightweight division rankings. So we had Benson Henderson fight Gilbert Melendez recently. It was a really good fight. A lot of people thought Gilbert Melendez won that fight. That's why I'm keeping Benson Henderson at number 1, Gilbert Melendez number 2, and as we move down, I actually have Michael Chandler, the Bellator champion, at number 3. I think he'd match up well against a lot of guys in the UFC. I think that's why he's 3. And we have Anthony Pettis in the number 4 spot. Even though he's fighting Jose Aldo for the featherweight title, he's still the last guy to defeat Benson Henderson, and that's why he's holding down the 4 spot, 1 above Gray Maynard in the 5 spot. All right, so let's take a look at the featherweight division. Number 1, Jose Aldo, been super dominant, fighting Anthony Pettis, like I said. Can't rank Anthony Pettis because he hasn't fought in the division yet, but number 2, we got Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar will hold down the 2 position in any weight class he fights, and he's really struggling to get himself a title, but he's always fighting number 1 guys. Then at number 3, I have the Bellator champion, Pat Curran. A lot of people don't have him ranked this high, but I think he would do very well. I actually think he can give a lot of trouble to Jose Aldo. If he can break away from his contract and come over to the UFC, I think he'd be an immediate contender for the title. Then 4 and 5, Clay Guida and Chad Mendes. Those are guys I think they're going to struggle unless Jose Aldo moves up to the 155-pound division. They're not going to win themselves a title, and they're going to be kind of in this limbo state. All right, let's take a look at the bantamweight division rankings. Maybe a shocker to some of you guys, but I have Bibiano Fernandez, the ONE FC and Dream Fighter, in the number 1 position, holding a tight spot over the interim champion, Renan Barão. Dominic Cruz, the current UFC bantamweight champion, would be ranked number 1 on my rankings, but he hasn't fought in a long time. Until he fights and proves that he's healthy enough to fight, he's off these rankings because he's inactive, and we keep Bibiano Fernandez at number 1. And we're going to talk about the one female division that's within the UFC, the bantamweight division, the 135-pound weight class. With champion Ronda Rousey at number 1. We recently had Kat Zingano beat Miesha Tate. She's moved herself into the number 2 position. She'll be fighting for the title. She's on the tough 18 with the co-ed season. And at number 3, we have Sarah McMahon, who recently defeated Sheila Gaff by TKO and moves herself into the 3 spot, waiting for that title with Ronda Rousey. All right, and here are my pound-for-pound rankings. If you don't know what pound-for-pound is, pound-for-pound ranking is if all the fighters were at the same weight class, who would be the best fighter? This is all their skills. Who's the best fighter skill-wise? If you look at a lot of rankings, a lot of guys have Anderson Silva at number 1. I have at number 2 because John Jones is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world right now. Number 1, John Jones. Number 2, Anderson Silva. A lot of people have GSP at number 3. I have Jose Aldo at number 3 because he finishes fights. George, finish some fights. All right, and this might be a shocker to some of you, but we have Ronda Rousey at number 7. Like I said, pound for pound shows who has the most amount of skills. If we're all the same weight class, if we're all maybe, if Ronda Rousey was a man, what she would do against guys, she would armbar them. There's no other fighter in the world that armbars every fighter they defeat. That's why she's number 7, because she armbars everyone and she finishes fights. Like I said, George. All right, so those are my rankings. Hope you guys enjoy them. Mine may be a little more accurate than yours at home because I have my dog whisperer, Ronda Rousey, at 6. Well, maybe next time she'll be at number 6. Make sure you stay tuned. Anytime someone gets defeated and changes the top 10, I'll let you know how the rankings change. I'm the Squid, and I'll see you next time.